Okay, Spanners, yeah, lovely job there, and really Sam Spinell confirming what we all thought was going on there. We're coming up now to heat number 8 in this British Rental Car Championship. We're in the second round. We've done the first round on the ordinary course, the second one on the alternate layout, and that's what we're on now. We're up to the 8th of 10 heats here. In this race, well, we're seeing the return of the reigning world and 5 times British champion. It is, of course, Ruben Boutens who's going to be heading the listings on this one. So Ruben Boutens, he's heading the lineup. We've got Shaun Mcgrath, Arnaud Tinet, everybody's favourite Frenchman. Dan Healey is in there as well. We've got Tomasz Krakowski, we've got Jamie Henderson, Tyler Mays, Matthew West, Conor Marsh, who we saw pull off the most incredible win earlier on today. If he backs up that in this event, it's going to be against Ruben Boutens, and that would automatically make him favourite for the title overall. However, he's not going to find it easy, because the other entrant, of course, is Shaun Brierley. And Shaun Brierley has been competing internationally over many years now. He is British, but he's been racing all kinds of events like the Sport Kart Nationals over in the USA, World Championships, things like this. He really has got quite a lot of experience, and he's unbelievably fast. So as we look down, there's Ruben Boutens in the number 10. He's the reigning world champion, double world champion, having won in 2017 and 2018. And that looks like Shaun Brierley there in the 19. There's Arnaud Tinet in the 15. Arnaud Tinet is really enjoying this race series. He's getting better every year, and is France's top representative here. So as they head out, well, the natural assumption here would of course be pole position starting in the lineup there for Ruben Boutens, but there's some fast people. Shaun Brierley would certainly like to have a crack at Ruben Boutens. Conor Marsh, based on his previous races, it's got to be feeling that kind of cheeky confidence that gets results. So we'll see what he can do. Tyler Mays has been showing well, and across the board here we've got some very good people. I mean, Jamie Henderson is the SG Pet Sprint champion last year. We've got, Daytona 24-hour winner in Conor Marsh. Shaun Brierley, he's got an epic international resume. And then you've got down to the likes of Shaun Mcgrath, who's just trying to build up on his 96th placing from last year. So, Spanners, the qualifying is well underway now. Ruben Boutens surely is going to be your man. He's on pole at the moment, from Dan Healey, Shaun Brierley and Conor Marsh.
You've spotted my tip for this race. I was going to say, there's a young Belgian that's come across to enter this competition, a certain Ruben Boutens, and I'm going to pick him for the win.
He might argue that, because he might suggest that he's actually Dutch.
He was Belgian. Oh, there we go.
Spanners,
it's the production.
Lies and blame are flying all over the room at the moment here in the commentary.
I think it's important to establish blame before you move on.
Yeah,
that's how my marriage works.
Ruben Boutens is, just to clarify, he's from Rotterdam in the Netherlands. So I'm sure he'll take the insult in good grace, calling him a Belgian.
I rarely make mistakes about people's nationality or the pronunciations of their names, so it's a bit of a turn up for the books, really.
On the flip side, Spanners, he is racing for a Belgian team. Does that kind of get you off the hook a little bit?
That is exactly what I was referring to.
He's racing with the Blue Star Racing team from Belgium. As you can see, Blue Star on the leg there, Ruben Boutens, and in the same suit as Johan Medard, Greg Laporte and all that lot. But looking there, Dan Healey, that's quite a showing by Dan. He is always very fast, but in this environment, Dan Healey, Tyler Mays, they're showing well indeed. So is Conor Marsh. Yes, he had that ballistic win earlier on, but he's really there with Dan Healey and Tyler Mays in a sort of a support role, if we're being unkind. But that support role for Dan Healey has turned into being in between Boutens and Brierley. Now they're underway, so here comes Ruben Boutens. What are we going to see from a start from him? But what's Healey going to do in response? Healey's staying with him. Dan Healey's managing to stay with Ruben Boutens. It's a very even start. Now what's going to happen at that hairpin? Spanners, talk us through it.
Well, Boutens hasn't taken anything out of the hairpin, which I thought he might, but there has been a collision at the back. Yeah, that's the white helmeted number 18 involved there.
Absolutely. Do you know what? With everybody entering their nose to tail, it was clear. There's more bumping and boring at the back. it was clearly obvious that somewhere down the lineup it was going to occur. And
that was Henderson, and he's put his hand up, so I think he's reckoned he's caused that.
He's admitting guilt. So here comes Ruben Boutens with the lead. He's got Dan Healey chasing down. Shaun Brierley's now trying to sort of put a bit of a strong arm on Dan Healey. If anyone wants a shot at Ruben Boutens, Shaun Brierley feels that he is the man to take the fight there. But Dan Healey is managing to stay with the world champion. So it's the world champion, Ruben Boutens, followed by Dan Healey, Shaun Brierley and Tyler Mays.
I don't want to be unfair to the rest of the field, but surely Healey, Brierley and Mays here are thinking, all right, off you go, Boutens. Like, we're having our own little scrap back here.
Well, you think so, but they don't see it that way. Certainly not Shaun Brierley. Shaun Brierley, for all his sort of confidence not trying to say it because he'd be laughed out of the place, I honestly believe if he gets a shot at Ruben Boutens, he will take it and he will try and create it as well. It's not like they're sat there thinking, oh, bye-bye world champion. They honestly would like to have a shot at him. Of course, anyone putting a passing move on Ruben Boutens round here, the 5 times British champion, that's going to be something to hang your hat on, isn't it?
The thing is, Boutens is already nearly a Mississippi ahead, so he needs to get a shift on if he doesn't want Boutens to disappear.
In fairness, though, Spanners, just as a slight other angle to that, we're 3 laps in now, and Ruben Boutens is not the same sort of distance ahead of Healey as we've seen other people checking out in the lead. So it's certainly not over yet. I mean, we're talking about Ruben Boutens here, so it probably is over. It just doesn't look over.
Let's look at the red pillar then. One Mississippi, nearly a Mississippi ahead.
Okay.
Do you not? Is that not the unit you use in racing?
What's
okay.
Mississippi?
Well, you count. Oh, come on, you know the Mississippi count. Surely. Here we go, though. Brierley's under pressure.
Is it how many times you can say Mississippi?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, he's probably getting on for about a Mississippi and a miss at
Marsh.
this rate.
Marsh in the pits.
Marsh, early pit visitor. So Conor Marsh found himself sort of in the mid-pack there, as opposed to the front we saw earlier on. So maybe he feels his strength this year is actually sheer raw speed. And he didn't want to fight out. He just wants to try and leapfrog them on lap time, so when they pit, he's going to come out ahead.
Oh, May's taking a move down the inside there. He's taking a big chunk out the inside. I think that's fair. Very aggressive. I don't know whether
it was. I think the contact was when Dan Healey was trying to tuck him back into position behind Brierley. I don't think the contact was going in. I think it was actually contact from the front of Healey onto Brierley when he was actually coming back into position.
I see.
Quite a serious lunge there by Shaun Brierley. Now, Shaun Brierley is often obviously feeling that Dan Healey is not the man to take the fight to Ruben Boutens. Shaun Brierley can actually see Boutens ahead, so for what it's worth, that's what he's aiming for now, and he's just really going to be looking at Ruben Boutens and seeing if he can actually close in on the reigning world champion.
I'm still stunned you don't know the Mississippi method of timing, because it is all the way up to 3 now.
Yeah, well, the point is, Spanners, using modern technology, all I'm doing is looking at the timing screen here, which is telling me that it's 2.1 seconds. So I don't even need to know how to spell Mississippi, let alone say it.
Fine.
I'm letting the technology work for me, sir.
It's a good battle, though, because, yeah, I think Boutens is gone now, and I think this now has to set the stage for the rest of the race. The battle is between these 3 guys, and if they hold each other up and let Mays come back into the fray, I think they'll be pretty upset with each other, but they show no signs of working together. No,
absolutely, and Shaun Brierley is a very formidable competitor, and he's very good at making it happen and just doing it right. He's not somebody who's going to give a lot away, so I think that what will be interesting is if he doesn't close in on Boutens himself, whether or not he can just actually maintain this kind of gap. Because Ruben, yes, he wants to win the race, and he tends to win races by pulling away. But Shaun Brierley, part of trying to do something about Ruben or even stay with him will involve pulling away from Dan Healey, which he's not looking like doing at the moment. Look at this, it's pretty close between Healey. Ruben Boutens has put 0.3 of a second on Brierley there, but it's as close, half a second, over second and third with Brierley and Healey.
I was just watching our pal Arnaud, though, holding off the attentions of West, and actually West being really aggressive, and I think there is going to be a move coming up soon down this back straight. That's why I'm keeping just a little eye on that back.
Yeah, absolutely. Arnaud Tinet, everybody's favourite Frenchman. There'll be a lot of people keeping an eye on that here at the track. Arnaud Tinet, we've seen in some fairly robust battles before. You know, thinking back to the big arm-waving escapade with Alex Van Gien.
Oh, yeah, but Jeans is a lunatic, isn't he?
One bounced off the other one bounced back, and everyone was waving. And
definitely Van Gien's fault, that one, definitely.
Was the one who decided, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just accelerate and pulled away from that situation. That was down here on the final corner. Meantime, though, we've got Ruben Boutens has put about 0.2 of a second onto Brierley there. Brierley is still maintaining position, reference Dan Healey. A great showing here by Dan Healey, because Brierley is not an easy man to tackle and he's very fast. So it's still battle royal over second place. Ruben Boutens is edging away in the lead, it has to be said. 10 laps into the record books, but there is Dan Healey trying to hold on to Shaun Brierley with Ruben Boutens down the end of the straight there. So Ruben Boutens is maintaining a constant gap.
Oh, I forgot how good he looks in the car. He's so still and upright, like he's got extra support. It's the same car, right? He's in the same car as everyone else. You're sure?
He's not in a 250 supercar, though. The thing with Ruben Boutens is, when you're watching him, is he actually doesn't even look like he's driving the car. He looks exactly the same when he's sat in the pit lane with the engine off as when he's actually setting record laps. So Ruben Boutens, by doing less, actually tends to achieve more. What he is very good at is getting the absolute most out of everything. He's not doing anything more than all he needs to do. You know, he never has to dip into any kind of special pull. He just does his thing, and that's good enough.
Speaking to him last year, and obviously we're not seeing any of the head dipping yet as we're in the heat stage, towards the semi-finals and finals, Ruben did have his head down in that kind of aerodynamic position, and I remember asking him, you know, do you really think that makes a difference? And he said, I don't know, but on the straight, what else can you do? But it's interesting, you know, they're not doing that at this point. When we come to the business end tomorrow, they are doing absolutely every minute thing they can.
That may be true, but the fact that they're not doing it now may be a sign of a slight change of things, because the points being scored now are relevant to getting into the final. Because when you're in the semi-final, it's the right to continue scoring. So by definition, that means a good points haul in the heat races means you can muck the semi-final up a bit, a little bit, and still get into the final. You know, you don't have to win, basically. And the better you do in the heat race point scores means the less work you have to do in the semi-final. So it might well, the importance really is from the moment you get going, it's vital to do your best performance. So it may well be that we won't see it tomorrow either if we're not seeing it today.
Yeah, it could well be that all along it doesn't do anything. Same as the bunny hopping in the pit lane as they bounce up and down.
It's all mental, isn't it? It's all in the head.
Marsh was just about standing up in the pit lane, but he did have one of the fastest pit stops of the race and then won. So, you know, correlation does always equal causation, as far as I know.
Well, absolutely. Obviously, the big question there is what he did with his foot actually greater than what he did with his bum in that situation? But whatever you feel might be doing something, you're going to want to do, aren't you? Meantime, though, look at this battle royal. Healey is showing very well against Shaun Brierley. Shaun Brierley is a known fast driver, and they're only 3 seconds away from Ruben Boutens, so neither of them are hanging around. Can have a little look at the lap time. Ruben Boutens is the fastest on the track at the moment, but it's only like a tenth and a half faster than what Shaun Brierley is doing. So they're all actually very fast here, and Shaun Brierley is already getting defensive. You can see that on the screen against Dan Healey, and this is a great showing by Dan Healey. He's really looking good. Mum Jo's bound to be up in the gantry there. She'll be getting all excited, and she'll be watching Dan. She's always at these events and watching how Dan goes, and she'll be pleased with this one. Dan running in third, and it has to be said, challenging Shaun Brierley. This is a very good show by Dan Healey.
So I don't know Mcgrath. Is he the sort of gent? Yes, he is. Look at that. Lets the leader pass, no problems whatsoever.
He did. That was very sporting there by Shaun Mcgrath. He was 96th in the championship last year, and obviously he was saying he wanted to improve on that. Well, a 10th place might need a bit more than that to improve. Ahead of him is Matt West, who is a little bit ahead, so I don't think we'll quite be seeing Mcgrath actually challenging West there, but who knows, it can all go wrong in a variety of ways for others, and he may well come through and take a place or two.
Well, the thing is, Mcgrath wasn't fighting with anybody. When Boutens comes up to the back of Arnaud and West, and that might not be quite as courteous.
No, very often things involving Arnaud and track aren't quite as courteous, but we've got someone coming in the pits. It's the 14, it is Mcgrath. Mcgrath is in the pits, there he is, he's on the screen. And the first light was good, and we're looking for it to go green. Mcgrath's waiting for the green. Oh, he's timed that quite nicely, actually. That was a pretty good pit stop by Mcgrath. We'll see how it works out on time. But it certainly looked good on screen there with Shaun Mcgrath taking his pit stop. What's he got? Yeah, actually, Spanners, you know what? That was a really good stop. It was 11 seconds exact. So that is among the best stops.
Well done, McGrath.
A good show there by Shaun Mcgrath, no question.
I don't think it's going to be quite enough to make up the gap to Tinet at this point.
Well, it's probably not going to make him challenge Ruben Boutens in one lap, is it? But it's nice to know he can do it. So, meantime, talking about people who can do it, Shaun Brierley is really getting some strong attacks by Dan Healey there. Dan Healey, they're still within sort of less than 4 seconds falling away from Ruben Boutens. On the screen there, Ruben Boutens leads. Down the backstretch, that is Shaun Brierley, and there's Dan Healey trying to chase down Brierley, and Dan Healey will be doing everything he can to stay with Brierley. The question is, will Healey try and jump him on track, or does he feel he's got the pace to try and use a pit stop to do it? If he pitted now, of course, it might be a little bit early because it will throw him in a bit of a mix with other people.
Well, I was going to say, looking at the timings, I think he might come nicely out in between that long name that starts with K and Henderson, and that would give him at least a few laps.
Yeah, but he's going to catch.
Did you see that? Did you see the finger wave by Healey?
Another deal.
He was saying, let's strike up a deal. Let's get on.
Move on.
He doesn't think he's going to catch Boutens, does he? I think that's a trick. I think it's a trap by
who knows?
by Healey.
He might be just getting frustrated back there, saying, "Go, get
No,
move
it's
on,
a clever ploy. That's what he's going to lull him into security.
Yeah, or it may well be that he's seeing stuff that we can't see from here. Of Dan Healey getting all defensive. You could be right. It could well be a sneaky ploy there, Spanners.
I like to think that they can get in each other's heads, but we'll see.
Nice one. Meantime, they're still saying very fast times. I mean, Ruben Boutens, he's on 32. He's not the only person to pull a 32, because it's Ruben Boutens and Dan Healey who've managed to put themselves into the 32-second bracket. It has to be said that because he's on his own, Ruben Boutens is doing it a little bit more consistently. Shaun Brierley is managing a 33.0 on just about every lap, and I think Dan Healey's times are sort of going up and down as he's sort of going towards and coming back slightly from Dan Healey. He's dropped back a little bit from Dan Healey there now, about half a second, so maybe in this next lap we'll see a new personal best by Dan Healey. You know, because he's got a little bit of space to close in on Shaun Brierley without having to not crash into him. So if that happens, maybe it could be worth Dan Healey in a couple of laps' time thinking about a pit stop and see if he can do something about Brierley on pure time.
Well, Healey's now just about a kart length back, and you have the feeling that he can choose that gap at the moment. Yeah. So if he does want Brierley to get on with it, maybe just give him a bit of space to race.
Absolutely, and in fact, it's not what's happened is Shaun Brierley's found some speed from somewhere. He's suddenly upped his game by 0.2 of a second, and Dan Healey's struggling to go with him. Well, fastest on track at the moment is the leader, Boutens, but second fastest is now Brierley. Well, Dan Healey is trying to respond. He's very close, but in terms of sheer lap times, it's Shaun Brierley who's ever so slightly up the pace, and well, that may well change Dan Healey's thinking about whether or not to pit. If he pitted now, he would probably come out ahead of Tyler Mays and be in third place on the track, which is where he is now.
Look at Brierley's line now. I mean, he was as far left as he was comfortable with, as he described earlier.
Defensive.
Well, with Healey just giving him some space, he's able to take that proper racing line. Is that West in the pits?
Yeah, that was Matt West in the pit. He's further down the order, though. That may well be to Shaun Mcgrath's advantage. But you're right, Shaun Brierley is definitely getting worried about Healey there, and that's why the defensive lines are appearing. The defensive lines won't be making him faster, that's for sure. And in fact, when they cross the line, we'll have another little ganders and see what it's doing to the times. Ruben Boutens there on screen, continues on his mercurial way. We've got a pit hit to Arnaud Tinet.
Yeah, he's responding to West's pit stop earlier, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get out in front. Here comes West. It's enough.
West has got the speed. He's going to do it. West has done it across the line. And Matt West moves up a position at the expense of the Frenchman, Arnaud Tinet. I keep saying it, he's everybody's favourite Frenchman, he really is. But unfortunately, he's lost a place to Matt West. And Matt West moves up, and that will be for 8th place there. And actually, the Matt West and down are a lap down now.
Rightio. Yeah, well, I mean, Tinet could have been a lot ruder there. I think that was just on the lines of fair. And you don't see people very often deviating when they come out of the pit lane. They tend to stick to that right-hand side, and if you've got the pace through across the start-finishing line, then good luck to you.
Absolutely, and Matt West definitely had that pace. He had a lot of momentum on Arnaud Tinet there. Arnaud was still speeding up, and Obviously, Matt West had the momentum and was just going to drive around the outside regardless. Now, what's happened here? The gap has really opened up. It's gone to over a second.
Yeah.
Dan Healey is going faster. Well, he's still setting the times, but Shaun Brierley seems to be consistently faster now, and that is really what's made that gap. Dan Healey somehow, he's probably given his best all throughout, and Shaun Brierley's just found a little bit of something somewhere, and that is making a difference now, because look at this on screen. There's Brierley, and there's Dan Healey. Last time we were looking and paying attention to him, we found they were nose to tail, but now there's over a second gap. In fact, it's really opening up. It's getting up for 1.5 seconds. Look at that. Brierley ahead there by 1.5 seconds to Dan Healey.
Okay, let's play virtual kart manager. If you're Shaun's pit crew, do you tell him to come in the pits now? No, that puts him right behind Mays, doesn't it?
He could, because I think he'd still come out comfortable third. If we're dealing with, say, an 11-second pit stop, if he's doing it right, Tyler Mays is, yeah, well, that's true. He would be right with Mays. You are right, because that's back from the leader. So, yes, Spanners, that could be a cagey one now. If Brierley pits now, he could be in trouble. However, look on the flip side, he's only got 3.5 minutes to do it, less than. If he can't pit on the last lap, he could be in trouble here.
Yeah. Oh, this virtual kart manager game is fun.
Well, what would you say to Dan Healey?
I don't know. Dan Healey, right, okay, what would I say to him now? He's lost that early impetus. Does he roll the dice? We have got somebody in the pits now. It's the number 9.
That eliminates one of your potential problems for Brierley and Healey.
Yeah, and 18 as well. Henderson also in the pits too.
He wasn't a problem for Healey and Brierley.
I would say you've still got 2. Stay out on track at the moment and see what happens with those guys behind. Maybe they were waiting for the people that they were going to jump into the middle of the pack to pit, to leave it clear.
Might. Everyone has pitted of that pack except for Tyler Mays. So Tyler Mays, well, into the pits. We've got someone in the pits, and it is Tyler Mays. So
well,
now Brierley and Healey are free to pit unhindered. Boutens hasn't pitted either, has he? It's a massively late pit stop for everybody. Now, if they all come in together, this could be to Brierley's detriment.
Oh, we must have missed a dodgy pit stop, because that's the second pit stop for that number 9.
That's Krakowski, so maybe they're unhappy with something. He seems to be all right. And into the pits, number 20, that's Dan Healey. Dan Healey has made a great job of that, has Dan Healey. And is the light going green? Yes, it is. Oh, that's going to be a good one. We're going to see what the lap times say. Dan Healey has done what he needs to. Oh, that was a belting pit stop. In fact, that's probably one of the best stops we've seen. It's slightly inside 10 seconds. And into the pits is somebody, Mays.
17.
Mays,
it was Mays, that's right. So Mays has come in twice, I think.
Yeah,
and
Boutens
Boutens making his stop now from the lead.
Here's Brierley. Now, this is very interesting, because it's for position, and look how close they are.
He nailed the first one.
Brierley getting impatient. He's going to move out, though, and we'll see what that does. Reference Healey. Remember how ballistic Healey's stop was. It's the best stop we've seen all day. Oh, and Brierley's isn't bad, but it wasn't quite as good as Healey's, perhaps. Yeah, Brierley's was, in fact, just under 11 seconds. So he's probably lost about a second to Healey. We'll see where that shapes out. Where are they?
Well, Brierley is coming down the back straight now, and he's using the Frenchman as a barricade. That is a bold manoeuvre.
He's got Arnaud Tinet, and, well, when it comes to barricades, he is French. He knows how to barricade a road, as Arnaud Tinet, doesn't he? So Arnaud Tinet there is in between them, and to be honest, Shaun Brierley done enough work beforehand to be able to take a slightly more conservative stop. Dan Healey, that was one of the best stops we've seen absolutely all day, but of course, you know, he wasn't able to make up quite enough, however good his pit stop was, to Shaun Brierley. So we've got the final few seconds coming in. They're bringing out the flag. It's going to be a win for world champion and 5-time British champion Ruben Boutens. He takes the win. And there's Shaun Brierley in second, and there is Dan Healey in third. A great result from there. There's Arnaud Tinet crossing the line. And here, of course, is Conor Marsh. And Conor Marsh has moved up a place from 5th to 4th. A decent result for him, dropping down the order there. Somebody must have lost out there. Krakowski, I think it is, who's the one who's lost out, that allows them to move up a little bit. But what a result there. by the world champion Ruben Boutens. He wins by 4 seconds from Shaun Brierley, who really worked well in that race. It was vital that he found that little something somewhere in order to defeat Dan Healey, because if he just kept at the same lap times we were seeing earlier when he appeared to be holding up Healey, and then Healey's ballistic stop, there's no question Healey would have been in second place. But Shaun Brierley found what he needed when it counted and moved up into secure that second place. Okay, so they're all coming into the pits now. Spanners is down there and he's going to be interviewing people, and well, I can think of 3 people worth talking to right now straight away, and there's always going to be more. So we're going to be going over to Spanners in the pit lane.
Well, I'm here in the pit with Ruben Boutens, and as I predicted, you did actually manage to just about scrape a win there.
Yeah, I'm very happy. My second win of today was a new layout compared to this morning. I really enjoyed it. Some nice new turns, and yeah, the race went well. I started from pole position, and from there on I could build up a lead. So it was, yeah, a good race.
So the new layout, obviously new to you as well. Does that suit you? Is this bad news for everyone?
Well, it's only 2 races we race on this layout, but I like it. I think it's not easy to overtake on this layout, but the corners are nice to make some difference in lap time, so I like it.
So when you're that far out ahead, you know that you're comfortable in this competition. What are you thinking while you're out in the lead? Are you thinking about tomorrow?
No, I'm just thinking to stay focused, because it's easy to lose your focus when you're so far ahead, especially thinking about the pit stop. I'm always waiting for the right moment. Even if you are so far ahead, it's important not to come in too early, and I'm just taking no risk at all in the pit lane.
All right, let's try and stir things up. Who are you watching up there? Who have you got your eye on today?
For me, one of my most strong rivals, I think, is Ed White. Already since the final in 2015, I really have a lot of respect for him, and I know today he had one less good result, but yeah, I think he's really strong. So.
Well, a great result for you. Thank you for talking to me. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot from him over the course of the weekend. Back to you up in the warm place.
So great insights there from Ruben Boutens. He is the world champion, twice world champion and 5 times British champion consecutively too. And he's actually going for 6 British titles. That's the 2nd heat race he's won. He's got maximum points now. We've got heat race 9 of this 2nd round. So we've almost completed the 2nd round of heats now. They're heading out to qualify, and we're going to move straight into action there. As in this race, we've got Slavik Piskor's, George Lovell, Michael Weddle, Greg Smith, Remy Dra